Well, welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. Lisa, I hope you have Taco and Nacho listening because we have a fantastic specialist coming up. Now, just for the listeners out there, Taco and Nacho are my two dogs. We've got a Border Collie Lab mix and a Border Collie Lab Great Dane mix. They are fantastic. So I hope they're listening because we're going to have a lot of good information for them, and there's going to be a test later, you two. Okay. So John is a professional dog trainer and owner at DogSmart LLC, located right here on the Eastside in Issaquah, Washington. After a successful and rewarding career in corporate America, John decided to put all of his energy into pursuing what had become his true passion in life, helping families live a most fulfilling life as possible with their dogs. Whether it's an 8-week-old puppy or an adult rescue dog, John believes that a relationship built upon trust and two-way communication makes things possible when it comes to training our dogs. He accomplishes this by offering both puppy socialization classes and private in-home training. John, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to talk.
John, it sounds like you have a lot going on. So how do you have time for hobbies and interests, and what are they? What do you do when you're not doing the dog thing?
Well, first off, that's been one of the most rewarding experiences about starting my own business, is that it's merged my hobbies and interests really into what I'm doing. So, I used to talk a lot about work-life balance in my former career, and my hobbies at that time were very much dog-related. I have a 9-year-old husky. We're involved with her, do a lot of hiking, do a lot of work at Seattle Humane just across the highway here.
Yeah.
And now was able to kind of merge that into my career. When I'm not doing that, I'm into sports. I am a Yankee fan. Don't hold that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. That's okay. It's better than a Mariners fan. Trust me. Awesome. Well, we like each guest that comes on here because it's a show about homes. We're kind of melding the homes and community. So tell us a little bit about the home that you grew up in and some fond memory that you have, because that's a strong part of our show.
Sure. Thanks. I'm from Congers, New York, which is actually a suburb of New York City. Born and raised there. It's very much a typical small town, a commuter town. My parents' generation would have all moved up there from the city and kind of started the growth up there. So it's a lot of, one-family houses, small community. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's doors were open. Everybody, we used to dial the last 4 numbers of our phone number to call our friends. And it really was an amazing place to grow up. And my parents are still there in the house I grew up, as are a lot of my friends, my sister and her family. So just really like small town USA, about a half an hour north of Manhattan.
Wow, that's awesome.
So when did your passion for working with dogs begin?
Well, my passion actually started just really with all animals, love of animals as a child, as many of us started out. I had rabbits, I had ferrets, I had everything but a dog. And finally, I don't remember how it happened, but when I was about 12 years old, my parents broke down and we got our first family dog, Casey. He was a Shetland sheepdog. And that's when I really started to get into dogs and learn more about them.
So how did that kind of passion turn into being a formal dog trainer?
Well, it's probably one of the longest transitions out there, but it took many, many years later, after I had graduated college and gotten married. My wife and I got a husky, Kaya, who's still with us, about 10 years ago, and a combination of taking her through the various stages of training, puppy classes and then adult classes, canine good citizenship, all along while working at or volunteering at shelters, first in New York and now here at Seattle Humane. Started to kind of bring the love of dogs with the training and the behavior side, and that's where it started to kind of come together for me, and the light bulb started to kind of go off.
Awesome.
There seems to be a lot of different methods for training a dog out there. What's your preferred approach to dog training?
Well, ironically, or maybe not ironically, it's the same methods that I used to use in my former career in corporate America, where I was doing a lot of sales and customer service leadership. So it was all about positive reinforcement and coming after really building that foundation of trust and communication with the people you're working with. Once you have that and you focus on rewarding the behaviors that you like and not so much worrying about the behaviors you don't, you start to get people and animals that really want to perform and want to work on their behavior.
So, John, were you positively reinforcing people in corporate America with treats? Were you doing that?
I wasn't using treats. I think it was a lot more kind of attaboys and things like that. It's really getting to know them on a personal level, I think, was the big thing.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Treat?
Oh, is it me? Yes, it is.
It's
Oh,
you.
yeah, I had a question. So, so tell us more about the power of choice and what does that mean?
Sure. So, I mean, there's dog training has evolved a lot over the last 25 years and more so over the last 5 years. And there's a lot of talk right now in the dog training field about choice and consent. And really what it's about is taking dog training from what it used to be, which was about a lot of commands and barking, pun intended, commands at a dog, and making it more of a two-way conversation. And what that really means is being able to read and understand your dog so that you can take information in, understand what they're trying to tell us with their body language, because that's really where the magic happens. As people, our primary way of communicating out is what we're doing today, right?
Verbal.
It's verbal.
Yeah.
Dogs, it's all visual. They're always looking at our body language. They're hearing us, but it's always secondary.
So when Nacho, who's my puppy, is over on the other side of the yard, and Taco has already come because I said, Taco, Nacho, come. And he's just like, you see how I'm looking at you now?
Right.
Like
Is
for
that
those
is that
listeners
the come
out
here
there.
command?
Yeah. No, the not come is him like,
oh, what?
it's almost like a blank look on his face and a little snot, But anyways, but I can see that he's kind of saying, well, I'm kind of okay right here. I'm not sure that what you have over there is good.
That's you kind of hit on two things. They can't see us, but you're staring directly at me. So while you're telling him to come, staring directly at a dog is actually telling him not to come. So he's looking at your body language facing him. And for dogs, that means let's stay where we are. Let's not approach. And the second part to your point where you said there's something, you don't have something better for me. All behavior is driven by consequences. So if Nacho, was it Nacho or Taco? Nacho. Great names, by the way. If he's happier and he's getting more satisfaction out of sniffing the leaves where he is versus what you have reinforced him in the past when he comes to you, that's what he's going to choose to do.
That's free advice. That's
Well,
good.
there you go.
It is really funny because I think that you can kind of look through their eyes and you kind of like what labs are very like, man, they just react. They're like, but he's got that Great Dane in him, and I think he's a little more contemplative.
So I have a dog by default. My youngest son is a wildland firefighter, and so while he's off fighting fires, we have Samba. I am amazed how smart dogs are. I mean, this dog. He's a border collie lab mix, so he's super smart and super compliant. And
You've got a good mix there.
Oh my! I mean, I just can't believe how smart they are sometimes. But anyway, having said that, when did you first learn about giving dogs choices? That seems kind of, non-intuitive to me. But tell us about that.
Yeah, it's not maybe as literal as it may sound. It's really just about the communication piece and just understanding that if we're asking a dog to do something and they're not doing it, they may have given us some signals prior to why they're not. There might be something in the environment. It might be that we're being confusing to them. We might be talking to them and showing them something else with our body. So it's really just started to learn from a lot of the leaders in the industry. We've got some of the best ones in the country right here in our backyard. Ken Ramirez down in Graham, Washington runs the Karen Pryor Academy National Training Center, and some others. So started to learn from some of the best in the world that happen to be located right here in the Seattle area. So seminars, in-person trainings, and things like that.
Yeah, as an adult, when I first decided to get my first dog, I went up to a place in Woodinville, Gentle Touch, I think it was called. So it was like I kind of already knew I didn't want to do the kind where it's like, here, do this, do that. It was a little bit more like what your philosophy is. What's the most important component for training a well-mannered dog?
Well, it's really two things. So it's consistency, but before consistency, it's really being a great observer, which I've touched on a couple times. So if you can learn to read body language, and you don't have to be an expert at this, there's signs that dogs are giving out to us all the time that are contradicting what we think is going on in their head. So it's understanding a little bit about the body language, being able to read them, and then it's all about consistency. So especially if you're in a house with a full family, and if one person is asking the dog to, jump up on the chair and the other person isn't, is telling the dog to keep off the chair, what's the dog to think? Well, sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, so maybe I'll give it a whirl. They thrive in consistency.
What are the most common reasons clients reach out to you for help?
Well, I'm happy to say now, different than when I had gotten that first dog, Casey, when I was about 13, is puppy classes, really. People really understand that, especially in the Pacific Northwest. The importance of really, we say that it's like vaccinating your dog against future behavior down the road. Just like they go to the vet to get their shots, what they learn in that first, say, up to 12 to 14 weeks, there's some ambiguity there, but that's when they're imprinted with, how their behavior is going to develop from there, good or bad.
Who gets more training, the people or the dog?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's really people. It's people. I don't know if you've read anything on my website, but it's people training for dogs. It really is. It's gotta be a partnership.
It really does. And I like what you have to say about the household there. It's got to be a consistent command and it's consistent reading from all family members. So, yeah.
Sure.
So how do you stop a dog from doing something that you don't want it to do?
Well, you teach the dog to do something else you'd prefer, right? So anytime a dog is choices, it's saying, we call it unwanted behaviors versus bad behaviors, because for the dog it's working, right? They're jumping up on somebody, they're getting attention. So it's about understanding their motivation behind it, and it's showing them something else. So instead of jumping up on a person who comes into the house, maybe we'll show them how to go lay on their bed and grab their toy so that the person can approach them.
What would you recommend that a family focus on when adding a puppy to the home?
Well, the number one thing, as I touched on a little bit earlier, is really just that first 12 to 14 weeks. It's critical is to get the puppy exposed to a lot of different experiences. So it's different types of people, different types of clothing, different environments, surfaces. It's really focusing on future-proofing the puppy's behavior. You can teach a dog, you can teach an old dog new tricks. So a dog at any age can learn how to do something. But it's critical when they're young to really get positive associations with everything they're going to run into down the road.
Yeah. So let's talk about Floyd. I mean, how bad of a client is Floyd, really?
Are you putting me on the spot here right now?
Right.
Who's
Floyd
Floyd is Gabby's dog.
Oh.
Gabby is a peer, works at Keller
Right.
Williams. And
Yep.
Floyd is an amazing dog, and he came from Seattle Humane across the street here. So he's very lucky to be with Gabby, and they're very lucky to have him.
Yeah. She just absolutely raves about, oh, he did this today and he did that.
Nice.
I guess so.
Super dog.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how can somebody get in contact with you, John?
Well, the easiest way is to visit the website, which is www.dogsmartseattle, all one word.com, where you can find me on Facebook or Instagram, also DogSmart Seattle.
Okay, awesome.
John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been a blast.
After the break, we have in studio the founder of House and Hound Inc., Amy Jean. We will be learning about her Best of 425 magazine dog sitting and house cleaning business. Please come back after the break. We'll be right back.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093 or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Are your dog's behaviors not quite what you'd like them to be? You're not alone. DogSmart is committed to helping families just like yours learn ways to communicate with your dog so that both ends of the leash are working as one. They've helped countless families on Seattle's East Side and beyond. Don't waste another moment. Reach out today. To learn more about how DogSmart can help or to schedule a time to meet, visit their website at DogsmartSeattle.com or call 1-833-DOGSMART today.
Make us part of your daily routine. Alternative Talk 1150.